Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description notes below the video where you will find links to all of my online shenanigans, including how to get my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, how to support me on Patreon, and where to get my merchandise. Today, I am pre-recording one that's going to come in a couple weeks because I'm going out of town, and the subject of this video will make sense if you really understand that yesterday was Father's Day. Okay, yesterday was Father's Day, and on Father's Day I was like, hey, I need to do an Instagram post, and I'm going to feature some pieces that I have designed that were specifically designed to be truly unisex and to appeal, equally to people who skew more masculine and people who are on any range, masculine to feminine range of the spectrum. And I got to thinking about what makes a design masculine presenting or feminine presenting and all of the subtle nuances involved. So I thought, hey, I would make a video talking about one of the challenges that a lot of us knitters run into, which is when we want to make something for someone who definitely is on the masculine side of the spectrum and might be a little bit picky or a little bit anxious about the idea of wearing a hand knit, being worried that a hand knit is not going to fit with their overall aesthetic. Now, I want to make it clear that this is by no means what I'm going to talk about like the end all be all. And there are people on all ends of this spectrum, and there are things that I might say most people who present masculine are going to like this, but there are a lot of different people who are more comfortable on any point. So I'm trying to be real diplomatic about this. But we definitely have I probably at some point been in the position where we wanted to knit something for someone and they were like, I want it plain. I want it black. I want it plain. And black is not fun to knit with, and plain is really not that engaging. So, as I am wont to do, I decided to make one of these things. One of my little charts plotting how I think about when I'm designing to appeal to unisex, skewing towards a more masculine feel to my designs. Now, I am by no means the end, as I said, the end all be all on this, and I will definitely put a link in my description notes to Fatimah Hinds. She very specifically, a part of what informs her entire design approach is making sure something is unisex and that it's appropriate for most bodies or everybody's. So I will link to her, and there are other designers out there who are very much about gender neutral and unisex. And if you know of any of those designers, please let me know in the comments. I would love to find more and to see what they do, because I can learn from them and what they're doing. But what I'm working on here is this is how I personally think about it when I'm trying to design something that is distinctly unisex or skewing to masculine. So as you can see, I have two axes, as I like to do, and we have and again, when creating these axes, I really try to use words that aren't loaded in any way, that aren't judgmental in any way, and this one was a little bit of a struggle because I don't have negative connotations to any of these words, but some people do. But so we have the top, bottom, I don't know, X, Y, whatever, that I have from intricate to uncomplicated, and then from dainty to bold. are the two different axes that I'm working on, and let me try to explain some of these. So when I'm talking about intricate versus uncomplicated, it has to do with the complexity of the design, how many elements are going on, and the more intricate it is, the more we're skewing towards a more feminine feel to something. And as we go down into less complicated, we definitely get into more neutral, more gender neutral, and then into a more masculine presenting. That is not to say that you can't have intricate things that are very masculine. The example I would give for that is Aran sweaters. The fisherman's sweater, they're definitely a very masculine presenting thing, but also a very feminine thing. They're very unisex, because, and I would say that that would fall on the bold end of intricate. So that can definitely be masculine. And then this is the other axis, which is bold to dainty. So if you have big, bold cables and it's intricate, we're still skewing towards masculine. But as we get more and more dainty with our cables, and there are more cables and they're finer, we're going to start moving towards a more feminine look to our piece. So that is the bold to dainty. When our motifs, when the things that are involved are more bold, it has a more unisex or a more masculine look. And when they start getting a little more dainty, a little finer work, that then you're getting more feminine. So that is where I am. So obviously, if it's still dainty, but it's uncomplicated, you're still skewing towards feminine. But again, it's one of those axis things. You can be anywhere. And so dainty tends to be more feminine. Intricate tends to be more feminine. But you can make almost any of this work. And so what I wanted to do is talk to y'all about this so that when you're evaluating patterns, you can get an idea where the person you're knitting for falls on the spectrum and where you feel it'll work. Now, I want to show you some examples. I pulled out a couple. So this is lace, okay? I firmly believe that men can and should wear lace. Now, there's a lot, if you're talking about a diehard, barely accepting you knitting them something, you may not be able to get them into lace. But this piece definitely is uncomplicated. You only have two elements going on. You have the solid element and then a lace element. And then the lace itself is very, very bold. It would not fall into the dainty category. So it's definitely uncomplicated, mid-range uncomplicated, definitely isn't intricate. And so this is from my book, Big Yarn, Beautiful Yarn, Big Yarn, Beautiful Lace Knits. I can't remember the name of my book. It's right here. And it's bulky weight yarn with lace in it. Now, from that same book, and the name of this pattern is Asymmetrical Balance. Here is another bulky weight lace scarf that definitely skews more feminine. And that is because, as you can see, even though it's bold yarn, even though it's chunky yarn, the motif itself, the lace motif itself, is dainty, and it looks more complicated. It looks more intricate. So even though it's still bulky yarn, even though it's a very similar design, this one moves a little more towards the more feminine side. Now, are there men and masculine presenting people that would definitely wear this? 100%. That's why I say you got to see where your recipient falls on this chart, figure out where they are, and then match up your pattern to what their preferences are. And again, no judgment on these preferences. You like what you like, and you want to wear what you want to wear, and people's styles are very personal. Also, always, color choice makes a huge difference. So now the next set I wanted to show you. So this is definitely on the intricate to uncomplicated axis. This is uncomplicated. It has a little bit of a motif. It's got those V's, but we're talking stockinette and garter stitch. Now, it's still interesting to knit because it has a very interesting shape, but it is really uncomplicated. There is not a lot of intricate work going on, but exact same shape. When I was designing this, which is Curiosity, as I was knitting it, my personal impulse is, I'm just doing garter and stockinette, but instead of the stockinette, I could have cables or lace, and I have a tendency to make things more intricate because that's what I enjoy knitting. So this is a more intricate version of the exact same shawl shape. You can see I added in cables and I added in lace. Now, does that mean that a man would never wear this? That's not necessarily so. Again, color choice comes in a lot, but it definitely skews more feminine because of its intricacy. It definitely it skews more feminine, and the cables are dainty. These are little dainty cables. Now, if I had managed to incorporate like some big bold cables in here, so like with this one, if instead of multiple V's there were just big old chunky cables going up, you could probably get away with the cables. It's that the cables are so small that makes them a little bit more feminine. So I do not know if I am making a whole lot of sense, but it's what my brain was doing. It's what I was thinking about. So some of the things that are definitely read on the feminine end of a spectrum are ruffles, and that has the intricacy element of it. Picots. Picots, again, they're intricate. They definitely will skew something towards feminine. Smaller motifs, multiple repeats of them, that you're getting intricate, and therefore it moves it more towards feminine. Things that are read more masculine, bigger, chunkier cables, as you saw, bigger lace that was very geometric. And that's one thing. Lace, if you want it to skew towards masculine, you're talking about straight lines as opposed to things that look like curves and flowers and stuff like that. So I hope that this maybe has gotten your gears turning and thinking about what in a design makes something seem or feel more masculine or more feminine, or what is unisex. And really, for me, as far as I'm concerned, unless a pattern specifically has shaping in it to make it fit a woman's body or to make it fit a man's body, unless it's like very contoured, I think almost all knitting patterns are unisex, because I am very much the kind of person that I think everybody can wear any color they want to, and anybody can wear lace, and anybody can wear big butch cables, and it's just a free-for-all. Okay, I will knit anything for anybody. One of the things that frustrates me a lot in the yarn store that I work in is when people coming in trying to buy yarn for a baby blanket, and I'll show them yarn and they'll be like, well, it's for a little girl. I can't do that pattern, or I can't use that color. And I think purple is a great color for a girl's baby blanket. I think pink, hot pink is a great color for a boy's baby blanket. I mean, whatever color you want. Whatever color makes you happy, whatever color makes you joy. If lace brings you joy, do it. If cables brings you joy, do it. If just plain old garter or stockinette makes you happy, go for it. But if the person you're knitting for has definite feelings one way or another, then you want to bring them joy. And there are some people who will cause them a little bit of dysphoria if they're wearing the wrong thing, and you want them to wear and be able to love the thing that you've made them. So being aware of what skews things either direction, masculine and feminine, is something I think to think about. So going back to the my little chart. So more intricate tends to skew feminine, less intricate going into uncomplicated tends to skew masculine. More bold tends to skew more masculine, and as you're going in this direction, heading towards dainty, you're heading into feminine territory. So if you just keep that in mind when you're evaluating patterns, then you can knit something amazing for anyone that you feel is knitworthy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.